Welcome to Secure Management Faculties, where your mind is key before you unlock what is seen. Secure Agent Dreyfuse here. Today, we'll be going over a story in my personal experience of how I almost got murdered. Now, the situation is going to be figuratively spoken, paraphrased, and based off of memory. It's also going to have the facts, of course, but it's going to be expressed in a certain way to get the point across and then get the lesson at the end of the story. Be advised that when telling the story, it will be narrated in a fashion in an exact replica of the experience. Also to note, there will be certain languages, such as the N-word, nigga, being used in this expression and dialogue. And I'm African American myself, and that does not exclude or give me permission to use the word as loosely as projected. But for the sake of the story, I will use the word in context to collectively reflect the experience as I'm speaking and telling the story. Now, this was somewhere around maybe 2015. Let's just say somewhere between 2012 2015. I was working at pretty much the beginning experience of my security career. If I remember correctly, I was with Guardian Security at the time. And at the time, my female companion gives me a call. I received the phone call ring at the point in time. And her notification to me was, hey, the car is burned down. It's been destroyed. It's not moving anymore. So I continue on, and I said, okay, after I get off, I'm going to come pick you up. And taking in mind she was with my cousin at the time. And they often hung out. Now, in context, the way the situation went, I got to the area where the vehicle was and tracking it down and finding it. And of course, at the time when I was pre-arriving to the situation, no one answered their phone. So I found the car in the middle of the street. It was an area around Joy Road somewhere, or right off of Detroit, Michigan. Find the car and I see the axle is broke on the passenger side of the vehicle. Now, taking in mind the vehicle at the time, it had a severe density of tint on the windows. So even if you put your hand against it and your eyes as close as you possibly can put it, you'll not be able to see through the window. So as I continue on, I'm looking at the car knocking on the window and getting no sounds. So I said, well, let's try to track them down to the best of my abilities, at least for a short distance. Now, as I looked at and observed the ground, you see tire tracks, but then footprints became emergent within the tire tracks. And so it became easily to deduce that a set of footprints are going this way, considering they were the only batch. So I decided to get in my vehicle and follow the footprints a ways down just to see. Now on the right-hand side, there's a row of houses just like on any other neighborhood, but this is the hood in context. I want to be mindful in expression. And all I see is my cousin coming out aggressively out the door, but being pushed in an aggressive manner. He comes out, tears down his face at the time. And at this specific time, I'm already alerted that something's going on. So be mindful the type of house that they were coming out of, or should I say he was coming out of at the time, was definitely not a house that you would consider to be occupied. The same type of house that you would get that has squatters, or any type of house that may possibly look abandoned, or some type of rigged up electricity. The house, from presentation, did not look livable. So my cousin, he continues to come out, he's crying, so it looks like he's gotten some type of physical altercation. Now take in mind, at this time of my security career, I was not armed. I had on a Class A type presentation uniform, and I had the most horrible and most terrible Smoking a Berry Burr bubble jacket. with a badge on the outside of it. This thing had a bear's mane, equivalent to a lion's mane, all the way around the hood, and it extended from the shoulders and pretty much finished off around the neck. So, with that said, I'm getting out the vehicle, and as he's coming towards me, explaining the details, I see a mass mob of gentlemen coming out. These are black guys at this point. And in context, a whole group of hood niggas. They coming out the house. It was such a large amount of them compacted in this house that literally when they came out the front door, it was a mass of hood niggas. And of course, their trademark, half of them got their shirt off. When you fight, you take your shirt off and you square up with the individual to let them know who's alpha. So they're coming out. And in the background, inside the house, I've already seen a slew of weapons on the table. Clearly, they're not all legal weapons. So, based upon the appearance of the house, the weapons just sitting freely in each corner, as far as what I can see, and just around the table. At this point, I'm already confirming in my mind that it's a trap house. So, I'm in a dire situation. So the arguing commences, and immediately as soon as they come out, who do they see? They start seeing my cousin, and they see the guy that just got out in a Class A uniform with a smoke on the bear, berry burr, bear mane, all around the hood, lacing around the shoulders, from the shoulders all the way to the neck. And so one of the hood niggas make a comment and say, "What the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that?" With that said, I already knew I was attracting attention. Now take him out, I'm not armed. I got this overly dominant bubble Burberry jacket on, and I'm in a dire situation. So I already knew that the only thing that I need to do was focus on evacuation. At this point, everything continues, and I knew what was coming shortly right after. One guy out of the back of the group, who had a fully clothed mask and obviously no shirt on, he pulls out what looked to be like a Beretta M9 pistol. Now, this Beretta M9 pistol was so fucking big, I had to question myself if it was a 9mm. It was silver stained painted, stainless steel, as far as the presentation, with a black custom hammer. And also a black grip to match. With that said, his initial words were, "Get off the fucking block, nigga." I said, "Get off the fucking block," as he was toting the Beretta appears M9 pistol. Now, he's already impatient, and the rest of them are riled up, and I know bullets are going to start flying. And guess what's going on in my mind? The first guy that's going to go down is, yes, you got it, Mr. Smoke on the Bear, Burberry, with the bear's mane going across the shoulders and all the way to the neck. So at the time, my significant other at the time, or companion, I yell her name as immensely as I can, with a commanding presence and direction. I tell him to get in the vehicle right now ASAP, and I completely dig into her. Every word that could have been possibly thought of was being used. You got 5 seconds before I come slap the shit out of you. You got 5 seconds before you get your shit beat. Get into this vehicle right now. I became somebody at that point in time that I had to become at the point to get out for an evacuation purposes. Now, whether or not it was agreed or not, in context that should have been done, the fact is, she responded immediately, got to the vehicle, and then I took my cousin, and then we left off the situation. So, real quick, what's the lesson in this story? The lesson is, you can be outgunned and you can be outmanned. But there are things that you can do situationally in context. In context as far as being able to assert your command presence and also being able to be decisively directive to make choices, to comply with the situation and have other people comply with the situations in order to execute properly, even if bullets or even if fists are not even thrown. I also want to note that in the point when I was giving my commands aggressively, saying the things that I was saying to my companion at the time, making my judgments. I was willing to die. I want you to understand the concept of being willing to die, because there was no situation and there was no guarantee, and I was at a complete disadvantage. But my command presence and my direction of order got some respect out of the group. And even though they were toting and expressing their alpha maleism in a group, and they've had the advantage, they gave me my respectable space. And with that said, I guess you can say that the smoke on the Barry Bird jacket did its job. But it definitely was overemphasizing in dominance. So the point is, again, you're in a situation, become commanding, become decisive, become directive. But you also must understand what it means to be willing to die. Because there's always a different category of response. They could have put 2 in me. I've already accepted that. And I was responding and speaking with the intent to leave this planet, but also decisive and measured to make what I want to happen, and it did, and we got all off safely. All right, secure management faculties. Again, when your mind is key, before you unlock with a C, Secure Agent Dreyfus here. I'll see you on the next upload, or rather, hear you on the next upload, and I appreciate all who have attended this audio cast.